week. Congratulations to the Lions. I still can't believe it. This is the best day of my life. You can't stop us for 365 days. 364 maybe, but not 300. Okay, great. We put a little montage together of all your highlights so far to commemorate this win, so please enjoy that.
Come a long way from where we began. Oh, I'll tell you all about it when I see you again.
Thought they won a Super Bowl. You know, act like you've been there before. What do you know about winning in Super Bowls? Also, they're the Lions, so they literally haven't been there before. Come back though, please. What were you doing in the end zone on that last play? Coach said we would look stupid if we got beat on a deep pass. In the end zone? Okay. Well, you didn't look stupid. That's great. Where's Mike Zimmer? Get him in here, please. I can't. That still is providing better coverage than the Vikings secondary. Do you want to suffocate? Is that what you're trying to do? Do you want to be saved? We would understand. I don't really know what I'm doing. Well, you and your head coach had that in common. Also, shout out to Andy Dalton. He had more interceptions this weekend than syllables Brian Kelly tried to fit into the word family. Oh, we just want to know for next week, is his left hand okay? Yes, his left hand is okay. It's actually his throwing arm. That's the problem. Okay, but the Lions can still get in? I can't believe you eliminated us from the playoffs before them. Well, technically, we eliminated you before the season even started, but that's beside the point. Why does he keep looking up at me? Just retire, old man. Mike Glennon is now hurt too. We're starting Jake Fromm. I'm the only one who knows the Jake from State Farm because of the commercials that I do. Kind of like your game getting moved to Sunday night. Weird flex, but okay. Remember when you guys were worried about my hands being too small? I fixed it. Also, big news out of Carolina. Joe Brady has been fired, which we did not see that coming. Very unpredictable, unlike his play calling. Let's go! Let's go, Dad. Let's go. Yeah. What a sweet moment between the guy from Dodgeball and his dad. Nothing. I'm so glad nothing can ruin this moment. For the troops, Gardner. For the troops.
Eddie Agar, as they say, does not miss. You talk about finishing with a flurry. I don't know which one I like better. God talking about Big Ben pointing up to him. The Joe Brady predictable line. The Joe Burrow hand. Or the Gardner Minshew is for the. I mean, you don't miss, Annie, and it's so good to have you. We're fans of your work. You're making a lot of people laugh. You have been over the past year with your Zoom meetings, and now congratulations. Sorry for the belated congratulations on joining Bally Sports as their NFL college football correspondent. But let's start with where you started this week's meeting with the Lions. How special was it to finally get a chance to get some jokes off, but on a positive, a Lions win for the first time in a year?
Well, people were messaging me on Twitter saying, what are you going to do now? Like, do you have quality content for the Lions? And I'm like, I honestly don't. So I'm going to do a montage of the things that I don't have that are good from the Lions. But, it's great. I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the franchise. Dan Campbell deserved it. Someone asked me if they thought this, because I'm originally from Detroit. So people are like, oh, Detroit's got to be freaking out, right? Are they going to throw a parade? I'm like, I don't think they know what a parade looks like or how to put one together because we haven't won in so long. But it's so cool to see, and I'm really happy for him. It was a painful game to watch, but a win is a win. So
is that where you develop? If I could follow up real quick, is that where you developed your sense of humor? Did you laugh to keep from crying watching the Lions, and you decided, this sports comedy thing may be the only way to survive watching the Detroit Lions?
Absolutely. Yep. Fun fact, I'm actually a Packers fan, and I grew up living in Michigan. I'm also an Ohio State fan, so I had like two friends growing up. They both were my parents. I know.
You are just so defiant. Like, so Packers I knew the Ohio State part, but Packers and Ohio State. You just decided to be a rebel, huh?
I do not like going along with everybody else currently, and I also did not like having friends in my state. It's fun because I had to make it a point to know what I was talking about growing up, knowing my stuff, because guys would try and just lay into me knowing that I'm an Ohio State or a Packers fan. But I would tell people, they'd say, well, how did you become a Packers fan living in Michigan? You should be a diehard Lions fan. I'm dead serious. Growing up, I had a friend of mine from Wisconsin. I used to go over to her house on the weekends, and I would come back, and I was pretty young, and I'd ask my mom, why do they not cry on Sundays? Dead serious, because my brother would cry every single Sunday. And I learned really quickly it's because they're not Lions fans. So that's when that happened. So not a bandwagon fan, but I didn't feel like being depressed for my whole life. So.
Hey, listen, maybe not a bandwagon fan, but a very smart fan as you follow the Buckeyes. That is a great decision. But let me ask you this. Just process. Do the jokes come quickly? Do you write them and rewrite them? I'm just curious because, as Mike said, there's just so much stuff that's just like, oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one. How do you work to produce the material that you produce?
That's a great question. I watch all the games, right? I'm watching Red Zone all day Sunday. I'm trying to come up with content, but then I look at what fans are talking about, and because the jokes I'm making, I want it to feel like it's the fans talking, and that's the one line that they'd want to express their team for the week. So I'll be on Twitter and I'll see what jokes people are making, and if I can kind of weave all that together and make my own joke. And I'm big on like pop culture, right? What's trending. So I put Kim Kardashian in my video last week. I mentioned something about Brian Kelly in this one. It's just figuring out what, comedy is all about, people relating to the jokes. I try and do my own stuff, and I never, I always want to make my own jokes, never take anybody else's, but I got to figure out how to also not completely insult the team that I want to work with someday. So it's a very fine line. I told my producers, like, why haven't the Bears reached out to you? You literally live in Chicago. I was like, well, I may have told them to fire their coach like 5 times, so that may that may have been part of it.
So I do wonder though, if you're as a comedian, I'm sure you have inspirations. Who's your comic inspiration, or who are your comic inspirations? That's
a great question. I've never really thought about that. I mean, Kevin Hart, I absolutely love Kevin Hart, and I love humor that's just, I'm kind of deadpan humor is what I like. Kevin Hart's a little bit more animated, and it's his mannerisms that give away his humor, which I think I kind of play into with my videos. So I like his aspect of humor, but then I love the kind of what movie? I was just watching a movie where they have deadpan, like Airplane is a good movie. That's like stupid humor, but it's just super quick, and you have to be paying attention in order to pick up on it. And sports fans are the best too, because if you make a sports reference joke, they love to share it with people, because then they're like, I get that joke. I understood that reference. So I love it. And sports fans are also great with insults, because it's true. Like you could say, hey, like the Bills got killed last night, and Mac Jones, who's supposedly the best player, threw like 3 passes. You guys suck. And they'd be like, well, that's kind of true. We do. So.
Well, guys, just a couple more things on just your background, which is so fascinating, before we get your take on the league and also the college football playoff. I've been wanting to ask you this for a while, because I read this, I think The Athletic did a profile on you, and you said that you've always loved the challenge of defending yourself, and you realize that the guys in high school would take you seriously if you disagreed with them. So it's like, I guess I'm just wondering, are we that predictable? Are we like Joe Brady's play calling? Are we that simple? Like, we just be attracted to people who disagree?
I think that's a thing about, and I love women in sports, don't get me wrong, but I loved talking with guys because, they're so competitive. And I have an older brother, my dad and I would talk sports all the time. I grew up being super competitive. And so I saw how they would respond to it. And originally when I was super young and I wasn't a big Ohio State fan quite yet, I would talk about Michigan, and they'd say, well, of course you agree with me. I mean, that's what I just said. You're talking like the same way that I'm talking. But then if I'd say, well, your run game wasn't that great, and here's why, they'd be like, oh, okay. Like, you think you know what you're talking about. Let me tell you why you're wrong. And I absolutely love that, because it challenged me every week. And I remember doing this specifically in high school. I would watch the game Sunday, and basically what I'm doing now, I'd research the heck out of the game Sunday night, so that going into school on Monday, I'd know exactly what I was talking about. And I don't know if I would have done that if they'd agree with me, because it wouldn't have been as fun. And I apparently am a very controversial person, as you guys can see. So.
All right. You mentioned your Packers fandom.
Yes.
As much as we try to give love to the Cardinals in the NFC,
yes,
and I picked the Bucks preseason, and I feel really good about it. I picked the Bucks to come out of the NFC and win the whole thing preseason. Michael had the Packers. Man, you and Michael, Michael had the Packers
wow,
and he's a Buckeye. So you and Michael are on the same wavelength. Why?
Come on.
Tell me why you feeling good about your Packers? Just at the bye week, Aaron Rodgers got a chance to heal up. Why are the Packers going to emerge from a loaded NFC?
Specifically because we're not starting Jordan Love. Just kidding. Love the guy. Sorry. We won't even get into that draft. I think Aaron Rodgers, aside from week 1, we won't even discuss that. He's a guy that you're going to put your faith in and to take you to a Super Bowl. And I think he's going to want it. There's so much speculation what's going to happen next year with Aaron Rodgers. So why not take your team to the Super Bowl? just one last time. I love the Cardinals, Kyler Murray. You know, they're getting their offense back on track and everything, but the Packers are they're just one of those teams. Hopefully this time we can actually make it past an NFC Championship game. That would be great. If we don't actually we actually can close out a game would be really solid. But I just love what I see from them, and I'm excited to see what Aaron Rodgers does in his potential last year.
And have you
Potential.
How sick to your stomach will you be? I've already talked to Michael about this. How sick to your stomach will you be if Jim Harbaugh and Michigan end up winning a championship? And you were at Michigan, Ohio State, I believe. You were at that game.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes, it was. And I don't think a lot of my followers knew that I was an Ohio State fan. So they were like, "Oh, that was a great game to be at." I was like, yeah, it was really fun. It's great to see everybody rush out on the field. I was the biggest Iowa fan this past weekend. I will say that game did not go as planned. Adrian Hutchinson is a great player. That's the one good thing I have to say about Michigan. He's up for the Heisman now. Kenneth Walker III isn't. Did you guys see that came out today? I'm completely shocked because at the end of the day, I will pick Michigan State over Michigan any day. Sorry, Wolverine fans out there. But I think they have a good shot at the first game. Possibly. Well, I'm just glad it's not Alabama, Georgia for the first game again, because that would just be boring. But at the end of the day, it's the SEC, and this is the Big Ten, and it's Jim Harbaugh, and his track record's not great. So I, love the guy, love the guy.
So,
obviously.
Okay, so you would be okay on behalf of the Big Ten.
What do I have to do here? Since I'm a Big Ten fan, do I have to root for the Big Ten? Do I have to do that? I know people do that.
No.
Michael says no.
Thank you. We can't, right?
No.
Physically, as an Ohio State fan, I can't do that.
I told Mike yesterday, I like the SEC more than I like Michigan. Okay.
Yeah.
So SEC, I'll take the SEC over Michigan.
That says a lot. That says a lot because I really dislike the SEC. But I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Wow.
Well,
we have a lot of hatred in our hearts.
But you know what?
You.
But you make us smile, and your story's been fantastic. Congratulations on all the success. Keep dropping those videos. They're highlight of the week. And all the best at Valley Sports. Can we interest you in coming back again?
Absolutely. Oh, anytime. Anytime you want. We'll do a roast. We'll roast a couple teams next time. That'll be fun.
Oh, let's do it. We'll try to keep up with you.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right, Eddie. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.